watching In Focus. My name is Abhishek Mahajan. So as part of a major reform initiative to boost India's defence production, Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Friday dedicated to the nation 7 new defence public sector undertakings carved out of the erstwhile Ordnance Factory Board. PM Modi said the 7 new companies would form a strong base for the military strength of the country in the times to come. OFB, which earlier controlled 41 ordnance factories, has been split into 7 government-owned entities that will produce ammunition and explosive, vehicles, weapons and equipment, troop comfort items and optoelectronics gear, parachutes and ancillary products. And to enhance functional autonomy, efficiency and unleash new growth potential and innovation, government had decided to convert OFB from a government department into 7 100% government-owned corporate entities as a measure to improve self-reliance in the defence preparedness of the country. So this is our topic of In Focus also. Powering up defence manufacturing, eminent panel of guests will also be joining us soon. Let's get it started. Right, so Prime Minister Narendra Modi delivered a video address during the event on Friday. Raksha Mantri Rajnath Singh presided over the ceremony at Kothari Auditorium, DRDO Bhavan. Let's take a look at this report, then we'll start the discussion.
On the occasion of Vijay Dashmi on Friday, the Defence Minister Rajnath Singh dedicated to the nation 7 new defence companies carved out of the Ordnance Factory Board. To enhance functional autonomy, efficiency and unleash new growth potential and innovation, the government had decided to convert OFB from a government department into 700% government-owned corporate entities as a measure to improve self-reliance in defence preparedness. The Prime Minister addressed the function virtually and said that the decision of creating these companies was stuck for a long time and expressed the belief that these 7 companies would form a strong base for the military strength of the country in the times to come.
41 ऑर्डिनेंस फैक्ट्रीज को नए स्वरूप में किए जाने का निर्णय, 7 नई कंपनियों की ये शुरुआत देश की इसी संकल्प यात्रा का हिस्सा है। ये निर्णय पिछले 15-20 साल से लटका हुआ था। मुझे पूरा भरोसा है कि ये सभी 7 कंपनियां आने वाले समय में भारत की सैन्य ताकत का एक बहुत बड़ा आधार बनेगी।
The Prime Minister said it's our target that our companies not only establish expertise in their products but also become a global brand. He appealed to the new companies that research and innovation should be a part of their work culture. He said that these new companies would play an important role in import substitution in line with the vision of Atmanirbhar Bharat.
आत्मनिर्भर भारत अभियान के तहत देश का लक्ष्य भारत को अपने दम पर दुनिया की बड़ी सैन्य ताकत बनाने का है। भारत में आधुनिक सैन्य इंडस्ट्री के विकास का है। पिछले 7 वर्षों में देश ने मेक इन इंडिया के मंत्र के साथ अपने इस संकल्प को आगे बढ़ाने का काम किया है। आज देश के डिफेंस सेक्टर में जितनी ट्रांसपेरेंसी है, ट्रस्ट है और टेक्नोलॉजी ड्रिवन अप्रोच है, उतनी पहले कभी नहीं थी।
The Prime Minister said that the nation's defence export has increased by 325% in the last 5 years. He said that restructuring would provide more autonomy to the new companies to nurture innovation and expertise, and the new companies should encourage such talent. He reiterated that the government has also ensured that the interests of employees are fully protected.
सरकार ने सभी कंपनियों को एक बेहतर प्रोडक्शन एनवायरनमेंट देने के साथ साथ पूरी फंक्शनल ऑटोनॉमी भी दी है। इसके साथ ही ये भी सुनिश्चित किया गया है इन फैक्ट्रीज के कर्मचारियों के हित पूरी तरह से सुरक्षित रहें। मुझे पूरा भरोसा है कि देश को आपकी एक्सपर्टाइज का बहुत लाभ होगा और हम सब मिलकर आत्मनिर्भर भारत के अपने संकल्प को पूरा करेंगे।
Raksha Mantri Rajnath Singh said the move reflects the government's resolve of achieving Atmanirbhar Bharat. He exuded confidence that the new structure will help in overcoming various shortcomings in the existing system of OFB and provide these companies incentive to become competitive and explore new opportunities in markets, including exports, while safeguarding the interest of the employees.
ऑर्डिनेंस फैक्ट्री बोर्ड के सभी एम्प्लॉइज ग्रुप ए, बी एंड सी को केंद्र सरकार के कर्मचारियों के रूप में 2 साल की अवधि के लिए डीम्ड डेपुटेशन पर और कॉर्पोरेट एंटिटीज में स्थानांतरित किया जाएगा। सेवानिवृत्त और मौजूदा कर्मचारियों की पेंशन लायबिलिटीज सरकार द्वारा वहन की जाती रहेगी और इस प्रकार हमारी कमिटमेंट के अनुरूप किसी भी कर्मचारी की सेवा शर्तों पर कोई प्रतिकूल प्रभाव नहीं पड़ा है और उनके हितों की पूरी तरह से रक्षा भी की गई है।
The government has given these new companies not only better production environment but also complete functional autonomy. The Ministry of Defence has set a target of achieving a turnover of 1.75 lakh crore rupees in aerospace and defence goods and services by 2024, including in exports of 35,000 crore rupees. Nandita Dagar's report, DD India.
Guests have also joined in to discuss more on this. Mr. Sanjay Jaju is with us, who is Additional Secretary, Department of Defence Production, Ministry of Defence. Welcome, sir. We also have Mr. Rajesh Chaudhary, CMD, Advanced Weapons and Equipment India Limited. Welcome, sir. And we also have Dr. S. Guru Prasad, who is former DG DRDO. Welcome, gentlemen. Welcome to our In Focus special broadcast on defense companies. First of all, sir, Mr. Jaju, if I can come to you first. 7 new defense companies carved out of OFB and dedicated to the nation on the occasion of Vijayadashmi. If you can explain for the benefit of our viewers, what does this mean, sir, and how big is this?
So I'll start from the second question first. Yes, it's I think one of the biggest reforms in the Ministry of Defence. Ordnance factories, we have 41 ordnance factories which are spread all over the country, and they were run as a government department for close to 200 years. Of course, about 30 years back, they were converted into something called as an ordnance factory board, but still the entire process was through was being run as a government department. Now, when you're running a production enterprise as a government department, obviously you have your own limitations. Government systems are not designed for a manufacturing kind of an ecosystem. Here you require agility, here you require flexibility, here you can't be completely rule bound because you're trying to create business. So there were obviously problems of this nature. Besides this, when you write as a government department, you don't really know what exactly are your profits and what are your losses. It almost becomes like a cost plus environment. And when something like this happens, you don't remain competitive. And as you all aware, defense manufacturing has been opened up to private sector around 2001. More than 550 licenses have been issued. And so now you have to compete with them. You have to compete with the other public sectors. And you can't just be dependent on government for orders, the defense being a monopoly, but you also need to create your own business. You have to export. So obviously there are imperatives of this nature. So on the one hand, the question was that the company said that they didn't have the autonomy and the flexibility. And complaint from our side was that you are not efficient, you're not accountable. So how do you resolve it? The best model, if you look at the governance of any business, is to convert them into a company. So we have converted them into 100% government-owned companies. There were 41 factories. These 41 factories have now been regrouped into 7 defense business entities, completely government controlled right now, with 100% ownership of the government. But obviously these companies now will have complete autonomy in their functioning, and they would be accountable for their performance.
Yeah.
And I think the benefits and the advantages of it would be seen over a period of time. At the same time, when this decision was being taken, government has also ensured that the service conditions of the employees are safeguarded. So we're trying to balance the two situations, and obviously now is the time for the companies to look at business opportunities both inside the country and outside, and try and carve out a path for themselves. We currently have the total turnover in the range of about 10,000 crores coming out from the 41 factories that we have. In the videos that you might have seen during the launch event that happened on Vijayadashmi, you would notice that we are now talking in terms of about 28,000 crores of turnover over the next 4 to 5 years. And for doing this, the companies will now not just have to do diversification of their market, they will have to diversify their product range, and they will have to cut down the costs, they will have to shut up their revenues, and that's how you get the bottom lines. So we're hoping for the best, and I'm absolutely sure that these companies have a very bright future.
Yeah.
We have already given them contracts worth 65,000 crore. These are the contracts, these are the indents which were earlier there with the Ordnance Factory Board. All these indents have now been converted into a contract, and so they have almost the work for the 4 to 5 years. The only thing is now they got to be efficient, cut down on the costs, and improve their bottom line by making use of newer opportunities that come in. Another aspect that these companies can possibly look at is to bring in innovation. Now, all these years, ordnance factories were actually producing their production entities broadly. They were taking in technologies from rest of the world, from DRDO, and through those technologies they were producing. Now, what would be important for these companies now is to look at R&D and innovation as one of the important pillars of their progress. They will have to invest in those technologies and try and get maximum outcomes. Another major offshoot that comes out is, when you're running as a government department, it's all in from the consolidated funds of the country. So neither can you retain your profits. So if you make profits, again, it goes back into the larger coffer. But now you have your own individual coffers. Whatever money you make will come into your account. You can retain that money for capital development, capital upgradation. So I think that's another advantage these companies are going to get. So I'm absolutely sure this new model of governance would help the companies, give them more flexibility, at the same time provide newer opportunities and make them more accountable.
Right. So this model of governance would help the companies. Mr. Dr. G. S. Guruprasad, if I can come to you, we'll talk about the benefit and advantages of this model. But again, your first reaction to it: creation of 7 companies will give strength to Dr. Kalam's dream of strong India, PM Modi's dream of self-reliant India. Your reaction to it, sir?
Absolutely. This is one of the most expected move, and it is in the right direction. And it is a very welcome move, and it is going to yield results. A little bit recapture of what happened in the past when most of these ordnance factories were established. Some of them by British, some of them by our own government. They were established basically as just production units. There were not even drawing boards when they were established. They were not supposed to design anything. They were not supposed to know anything, just manufacture. So that was the model when Britishers created it. And they have done great work. Ordnance factories, till today, they have done good work, but that was not the potential. It had always had a huge potential, and these factories have not grown to the potential of a factory that have been established 20, 30, 40 years ago. They should have grown much higher. The only reason they have not grown is, as Mr. Sanjay Jaju also brought out, the systemic requirement of being flexible in business. That is the underlying point. Now, becoming an independent business unit and PSUs, so they have to earn their profits themselves by doing business. That is one thing. And second, most important responsibility any manufacturing unit, any factory has to have is the wing of research and development. Why we should have in any factory that kind of this thing is, that will be the center of growth. Because see, in the competitive world, you can only compete when you are better than others. And you can only become better than others by manufacturing and bringing it to market what others have not yet brought. The innovation part of it, but even the Prime Minister is very much stressing on innovation. So this part, this setup will give opportunity to these PSUs, new PSUs, to bring in new opportunities for innovation. See, when I want to hear a little bit of, because DRDO has worked for a long time with OFPs, and the main thing is, if you want to understand a new design, if you want to understand a new research output, you have to know that language.
Yeah.
So many times in OFP, that was the problem, because they were not up to that level. They did not have the legacy, or whatever you call it, as a homegrown set of people who understands the latest technology. That is what is required. Now these DPSUs can grow that. Examples are other DPSUs like HAL, BEL. They have their R&D setups, extremely very good R&D setups. That's how they are doing so well. In fact, BEL is one of the prime examples how a DPSU should be there. So I think this is a great move by Government of India, and the kind of autonomy they are going to give to these companies is, we have very high expectations from the new DPSUs.
Right, you're saying that's a great move by the Government of India. And Mr. Rajesh Chaudhary, creation of 7 companies will give strength to the dream of Mr. Kalam, like we said earlier, and PM Modi's dream of self-reliant India. But these new companies would form a strong base for the strength of the military for the country. That's what PM Modi said on Friday, also in the times to come. Your first reaction to it, sir, and then we'll discuss the benefits and the advantages of this model.
Yeah, definitely this is a great strategic reform initiated by the Government of India, and the conversion of these typically government-owned manufacturing units to the defense public sector units is the step in the right direction, because any manufacturing unit has to be in the competitive market in the proper format. As a company, they have to be accountable, they have to have the autonomy, and they have to earn the profit themselves, they have to be financially sustainable. And all the ordnance factories, they have contributed immensely to the defense production of the nation for many years, and they have all the capabilities, all the resources to meet the expectations of the country and the mission which has been set. They have all the infrastructure, the plant and machinery, the state-of-the-art manufacturing units. They have the experienced manpower, and they have a strong R&D setup also to meet the current and the futuristic requirements, expectations of the country. We are poised to meet not only the requirement of Indian Defence Forces, we are also looking for enhancing our capacities for meeting the requirements of the exports and contributing towards the vision of establishing ourselves as a world weapon manufacturing company. Right.
Right, Mr. Jaju, I'll take it from there. Like PM expressed the belief that these new 7 companies would form a strong base for the military strength of the country in the times to come. How do you want to explain this, sir? And also said that upgradation of these companies was pending for a long time, like Mr. Guru Prasad also said. it was ignored earlier, that's why we were more dependent on the foreign supplies?
So, in fact, Honorable Prime Minister also in his address indicated that during the World War II, there were a lot of products that were actually going out from some of our ordnance factories as military supplies. But over a period of time, they remained as a government department. Technically change is the only constant. We need to, the models of business governance have been changing globally. So as I mentioned, they were being run as a government department, and which has its own limitations. And there are also problems of supply chain. There are products which are moving across the length and breadth of our country. I know, for example, a product which has the total movement of about 8,500 kilometers. So what happens is, because you're a part of one family, the supply chain is completely closely integrated between these 41 factories. And, because of all this, the costs increase. Then also comes the manpower cost. I mean, you have the total turnover about 11,000 crores, and out of which bulk of the amount is currently being spent on salaries. And then you have your own limitations in terms of, the additional cost that you are incurring because of inefficient processes. So, when you run a business, what's important is, as I mentioned, the bottom line. I mean, you've got to increase your revenues, bring down your costs, so that what remains in between is a profit for you. Now, to an extent, all these factories have very good assets, skilled manpower, capable manpower. So you also have an advantage of a lot of legacy costs, which any other industry would have to be putting in. So what one can say is a good infrastructure available, both human as well as in terms of equipment, asset base, land, or the firing ranges that you require when it comes to setting up any ordnance factory. So I think it's important now that we leverage all this infrastructure, and government is also committed to provide them additional equity support for their capital upgradation and modernization. So that also is being grandfathered. So to an extent, with all these supports coming in from the government and with the asset base that is already available, the only thing is that the management now will have to create a growth path for their organizations. That's why we have also hired consultancy firms which are doing their visioning exercise. And I think the visioning exercise will also bring out the elements of cost which needs to be cut down. So broadly, it's now important that the new management that's taken over, they have all the freedom now. Their boards are completely omnipotent in terms of their own organizations. In fact, we have also been trying to impress upon the new management that it's a time they can lay the DNA for these new organizations. New organization culture that takes care of the interests of the all the employees. At the same time, all the stakeholders. Stakeholders also mean their buyers on the one side, their supply chain on the other side. And I think it's important now that these companies look at themselves as system integrators and try and improve their supply chains, build their supply chains, and make use of the local MSMEs and try and maximize their gains out of them. In fact, Honorable Prime Minister in his address also mentioned that with the startups now coming into the defense ecosystem, we have something called as a program called as Innovations for Defense Excellence, which the startups are joining hands with the Ministry of Defense and producing futuristic products and technologies. I think it's important that these new companies now leverage the strengths and the agility that can be brought in from the startups and deploy them in some of these companies. I'll cite one example of something called as a carbon fiber winding. It's quite relevant for all the barrels that we produce, especially the man-held barrels, where you require them to be sturdy, but at the same time you also require them to be less weighty. And carbon fiber actually is one of the important materials that's used for some of these products. Hitherto, we were importing all these materials, and in fact, the technology was not available within the country. Now, one of our challenges used to be around carbon fiber winding in IDEX. And one of the startups now is working. I used to work earlier for the erstwhile OSB.
Okay.
Now, technically, they are working for the new companies. And it's important that initiatives like this are leveraged so that we gain out of the strengths and advantage that come to us from a startup ecosystem. And there's no shame in accepting. It's not as if earlier this notion used to be there that, look, I'm a big player and why do I engage with a startup? They're too small for me. But I think all these notions are changing. The world's biggest is Lockheed Martin, but they also have their own startup ecosystem. They do bigger things, but they also know that certain things there, the startups can play a major role. Now, startups are playing a major role even in the space programs in US. Even in India, we have many startups which have joined hands with ISRO and are working towards futuristic technologies. So it's like, you require different kinds of business environment for different things. And I think now this window will be opened for these companies. Until now, for everything they were dependent on us. Even a general manager used to be appointed by Ministry of Defense. Now you have your own board, you appoint your own people, you provide them career choices, you provide them better opportunities, you provide them a flexible environment, you give them quick decisions and produce quality products. Another aspect is the quality aspect that's also important. When I was talking about bottom lines, I don't want to undermine the role of quality, especially in defense. Because in defense, bad quality can lead to loss of life. So it's important that the products that we manufacture are not just of the highest quality, but at the same time, they are world standards. They meet standards of anybody who is producing these products at a global level. So I think it's here that again some more flexibility is coming into these DPSUs. Earlier they are government departments, so government had to put its own quality assurance agencies on top of them, because if they produce bad product and it has to be returned and reworked upon, again the government has to spend the money twice. Once when it was given originally, and second time even the replacement was covered by the government. But now you have a company, you are governed by a contract. If your buyer doesn't like your product, he's going to return the product and you'll have to give that product at your cost. So I think it does give them flexibility that now we are not going to have government quality auditors sitting on top of them. At the same time, it also puts a bit of an onus on them that they should produce quality products, because replacements would be governed by the contract and they would be accountable for any such thing that happens.
Absolutely. Startup you talked about will play a very, very important role, and MSME's role will also be very, very important in the name of supply chain. We'll talk about that. We have Mr. Sanjay Jaju, Rajesh Chaudhary and Dr. G. Guru Prasad with us. Stay with us, gentlemen. We'll come back after a very short break.
As the day unfolds, our news and events take shape. We get you complete coverage of every news breaking in, tracking new developments as they happen. Midday Prime English, Monday to Friday, 2 p.m. on DD India.
Welcome back after a short break. You're watching In Focus, where we are discussing as part of a major reform initiative to improve India's defense production. PM Modi on Friday dedicated to the nation 7 new defense public sector undertakings. We have an eminent panel of guests with us. Mr. Sanjay Jaju is with us. Mr. Rajesh Chaudhary is also with us, and Dr. S. Guru Prasad. Dr. S. Guru Prasad, if I can come to you again. Before the break, we were discussing that role of startups will be very, very important, but you think in the name of supply chain, new opportunities would also be created for the MSMEs?
Absolutely. There will be, see, it will become more competitive because these units have to work for their survival. They have to work for profits. They have to make money.
Yeah. Yeah.
And when they have to make money, they will, because they will become accountable, and definitely they have to do the best in the industry.
Yeah.
And they have been given the freedom to make their own plans and execute them. So they have to get share their resources and join hands with wherever knowledge is available and wherever resources are available. And where it is most cost effective, they have to do that. It will become like a business environment, like an entrepreneur does. Any entrepreneur does. Similarly, they have to operate. They cannot have their own sweet preferences or compulsions, rather. So they will be free in both ends, and they have to make, each of their decisions have to make good business sense, both in short term and long term. Why I am telling you about long term is long term focus is must for any large industry. Otherwise, you will be disrupted by new technology. So therefore, being myself a scientist, R&D, they have to need to establish a very strong R&D department in each of these PSUs, and engage with the Center of Excellences, and engage with the DRDO, engage with wherever knowledge is available, wherever new technology is available. They have to invest their money there on long-term basis, so that they will be ensuring their future. So that is what is need of the day.
Absolutely. Mr. Sanjay Chaudhary, you are the best person to answer this question. Do you want to highlight the benefits and advantages of this model, and also the challenges that might be faced by these 7 companies?
Yes, the advantages are already listed out. That is, the first thing is that we will be having a higher economy, and that will help us to make our own systems which are more efficient. We can take our own decisions, and the decision making will be faster also. And there were certain restrictions to work as a typical government department, and those those are removed now, functioning as a DPSU, and we can make our own policies to function like a efficient industry. So that is the biggest advantage. The challenge is that we have to the workforce remains same. They are required to be aligned to the new working systems. Their mindsets have to be changed. That is point 1. Point 2 is that the infrastructure is required to be aligned to the latest manufacturing requirements. And then we have to set up new systems. We have to devise new ways of functioning and add on more and more talent for meeting the future requirements. These are the biggest challenges as of now. And as the kind of product range which we are having, that is artillery guns and the air defense guns or the naval guns, in which the expertise available in the country is very less. And it is an integration of very complex technical systems for which we are dependent on many foreign OEMs for giving us the technical solutions. So this change of format will help us to engage ourselves with the MSMEs or with the startups or other different R&D organizations, so that we can get the technologies faster, we can develop newer products, and we can engage more and more talent available in the country for developing the products faster and meeting the requirements of the customer in a better way.
Dr. Guru Prasad, Indian companies are looking for opportunities in the defense sector, and now the private sector and also on the other side the government sector, PSUs if we talk about, are working together, gelling together to achieve the national security mission. I want to ask you, sir, how important is this synchronization between the private and the public sector for the growth of any sector, not only defense?
It's an excellent question. Yeah. This is what government has been trying to solve. The first thing is just before a few days, probably a year or two before, Prime Minister also announced Atmanirbhar movement. This is a very, very significant movement. In fact, it is a bigger movement than Make in India movement that came a few years earlier. This Atmanirbhar means you not only develop the technology yourself and you manufacture, and then you are free to export. If you get the technology from somewhere else and you only manufacture, then you need to again go for license for export, and your cost of producing these units will be limited, and in fact your profit margins will be limited. That is how it will happen. When you during this particular phase of the development, I am just telling this is going to be a revolution. Okay. This opening up of these PSUs, they can grow immensely if they act rightly. That is what can happen. That is the potential it has got, and the right environment is there in the country, because the startups are given a lot of opportunities, and the MSME opportunities are there, and then there is a lot of brain power within the country. There is no denying, and the research agencies like DRDO, ISRO, BAC, and all these defense agencies, all these research agencies have done excellent work. And don't confuse with the research and the product. They are two different things. And you need capable industries to convert research output, that is the technology, into a product and system. That is where the innovation will come. So for driving the innovation, it is not a forte of one particular company or this thing. It's a forte of entire country. So it can come from an academician, it can come from a student, it can come from an entrepreneur. So that is what everybody has to focus, especially the need UPSUs, if they focus on where to look for innovation and where to look for research and where to look for the development and integration, then they will really excel, and I think we can become competitive worldwide with this new set, especially in the defense manufacturing and exports.
Mr. Chaudhary, you want to add anything to it? Your reaction to it? How important is the synchronization between the public and the private sector?
Yes, definitely it is very important. Again, as I say that the kind of products which we are making have a very long supply chain, and it is an integration of a variety of technologies. There is a typical manufacturing of special metals. There is an integration. There is optics. There is ballistics. There are electronics. So all these things need a collection of expertise from different fields, which cannot be held by any single organization. And for this, expertise is available in very small organizations. Their integration will definitely help to make the complex products for the future. So the interaction between the larger government and public sector organizations with the smaller MSMEs and startups is definitely of great importance.
And Dr. Guru Prasad, also PM Modi urged the private sector to come forward and take up both designing and also manufacturing of the defense equipment. That's why you think role of private sector becomes all the more important?
Yeah, absolutely. See, the competition is essential. In any industry, competition is essential, and competition is, in fact, it is a must for a positive growth. It is not that, see, every company, every organization has its got strength and weaknesses. and we have to work in such a way, synchronized manner, and healthy competition is part of it. You look at the automotive industry within India, there is a healthy competition and so much of growth, and absolutely Indian technologies like Tata Motors, like Mahindra, they are doing excellent work. There is nothing like the technology has to come from foreign land. It is a past thing. We have enough of resources within the country. We have enough of knowledge base within the country. Our universities, and they are second to none. So why do we feel shy about going for technology development within the country? And of course, research is something where there is risk is involved, and that risk has to be taken, and that risk has to be invested by government. Like government agencies like DRDO and the Space Agency. That is immaterial. This thing, no. That let us keep it aside from the business part of it. We have to invest in research, in academic research, in lab level research. We have to invest in innovation, which is forte of anybody. It can be from industry, small startup, anybody. So, because innovation is not really, it is just intelligent employment of existing technology is what I call as innovation. So, the integration of all these things can happen. And in fact, this opening up of industries for defense manufacturing is an excellent move. And now DPSUs have also been given independence, and they have lost lots of experience. And that experience they can put it to this thing, and they can compete well, and it is an excellent move. Now the opening of public sector like DPSUs having autonomy, and private industry coming up with this thing, they will also get technology from various agencies like Indian agencies or whatever this thing. So it is a competition. If you have best product, you will get business. That is it.
Right, sir. Stay with us. Mr. Puneet Agrawal is also with us, who is Joint Secretary, Department of Defence Production, Ministry of Defence. Welcome, sir. Welcome to our show. First of all, your reaction to it, sir. 7 new defence companies carved out of OFB dedicated to the nation on the occasion of Vijay Dashmi. Your first reaction to it, sir. How big is this?
Thank you, Mr. Abhishek. As our Additional Secretary, Mr. Jaju, has explained, this was the need of the hour. Over the period, Ordnance Factory Board, though they were the Erstwhile Ordnance Factory Board, they were making products as per the requirement of our services. But it was felt that there is a need to give them more autonomy, more freedom, so that they can make the product which is the need of the hour. So it was found that over the period, there are better business models available, and so if these production units are run on a efficiency criteria where they consider how cost could be optimized, how the delivery schedules could be improved, how the quality aspect could be made consistent, so that aspect was required. So it was found that over the period, many committees have also examined the issue, and they have suggested that corporatization of OFB could be the right step. Accordingly, with detailed discussion and detailed understanding of the issue, this step has been taken. Now it's a new beginning for the 41 ordnance factories, which are supposed to take advantage of this opportunity, and they need to put in structure, a management which should be based on efficiency, economy, and optimization of various competing factors, so that the product which is made available to the services, that is cost competitive, quality wise those are very good, and they can even withstand the competition even at the export level. Because right now, as it has already been pointed out, the total turnover of these 41 factories used to be in the range of 10,000 crores. Now, with the vision of our Honorable Prime Minister, the idea is to take these 41 factories under these 7 DPSUs to achieve the total turnover of around 30,000 crore by 2024-25. So it's a big step taken by the government, and we are very sure that these new DPSUs, 7 DPSUs which have been dedicated to the nation on 15 by Honorable Prime Minister, would
Right, there's some connectivity issue, I think. But Dr. Guru Prasad, we are running short of time. Just quickly, if you can tell us, various initiatives and reforms have been undertaken in the recent past that have created trust, transparency and technology-driven approach in the defense sector like never before. This is what Prime Minister Narendra Modi said. Do you want to explain the reforms and the initiatives that have taken place in the recent past in defense sector?
Yeah, thank you very much. Really, it is a path-breaking kind of decisions have been taken in past few years, and we are seeing one by one. And it is a very, very balanced decision to bring in this new TPSUs and also private sector this thing, and it is going to yield great results. One thing I want to point out here is, when you talk about defense products, it is unlike a consumer product or unlike any other product. It is not like even a passenger cars. There are so many models available and running around and other things. If a passenger car breaks down, you call the service person and you get it repaired. But in defense technologies, it is not like that. Here the quality is paramount. And then the evaluation by the armed forces also is, it is totally different. It is not evaluated like any other product. So many manufacturers, especially new people who are entering into this field, they will feel the heat. Why so many trials are being done, so many questions are being asked. But then we have to understand that soldier is putting his life on that line.
That's right.
He is dependent on this equipment. So it is important that the quality is given paramount importance. And what we give, it will undergo the test of by armed forces. Our Indian armed forces, they are very intelligent, they are very knowledgeable, especially in using the equipment, understanding the equipment. And it is not easy for anybody to market to them, sell it to them, any product. They will always look only for state of art and the best of equipment. So this is one thing all players have to remember. It is not Indian armed forces are not just easy customers to sell your products. They are very tough, and they are rightly tough, and you have to be the best in the world to sell them anything.
Absolutely,
so
you have to be the best in the
quality
world.
has to be of highest standard. So this is the bottom line where all the players have to understand.
Mr. Agrawal, final reaction. Do you think new structure will help in overcoming various shortcomings that were there in the OFB?
Yes, I am sure we will be able to overcome those, but it's not something which can be done overnight. So
yeah, that's right.
Everybody, all stakeholders will have to make conscious efforts in this direction. So apart from freedom and management control given to these DPSUs, even the other 3 services are also expected that they would come forward, give their specific requirement to these DPSUs, and then accordingly as a teamwork, they would further take this process forward to achieve the desired results. So it's a new beginning. It will take time, but with the government already there in support of these DPSUs being 100% government-owned companies, I'm sure we would be able to achieve the.
Absolutely, it's a new beginning, but it will take time. Major, there are benefits and advantages, but they might face some challenges also. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you for giving us your precious time. Mr. Agrawal, Mr. Rajesh Chaudhary and Dr. S. Guru Prasad. Thank you, gentlemen, for talking to DD India. So the move certainly reflects the government's resolve of achieving Atmanirbhar Bharat, and this decision will provide autonomy to these companies and improve accountability and efficiency in the functioning of 41 factories under them. And also, Mr. Rajnath Singh, Defence Minister, hoped that in the times to come, these new companies would not only play an important role in the defence manufacturing ecosystem, but would also be engines of growth for the Indian economy. Well, that's all we have in Focus today. You stay tuned for more news and updates. Namaskar.